Here at Con Thien, near the demilitarized zone, this is Lance Corporal Buddy Mann from Duval's Bluff. We understand back home that this was one of the roughest places in the war. Would you agree with that?
I certainly would. It is. It's pretty bad up here.
Could you tell us about some of your experiences since you've been here?
A lot of artillery incoming rounds and mortars. There's not much you can say about it.
What do you do when you hear those rounds coming in?
You get out just about as fast as you can. Then after they slack up a little bit, you find your hole and keep your head down.
Bend back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Con Thien is a bitterly exposed target just 2 miles below the DMZ. American Marines have been under fire there since last May. In just the last 4 weeks, they have suffered over 70 dead, 1,000 wounded.
Oh, yeah.
Con Thien is vulnerable. It is the least defensible of any of the American outposts because it's so close to North Vietnamese territory. The enemy artillery, about 100 big guns plus mortars and rockets, can pound Con Thien around the clock with devastating effect. And our ground troops cannot go into North Vietnam to knock out those guns.
60 medevac, 8 down. Chop forward. Keep your head down, okay? We can't reach those big guns, and they just keep dropping in. There's nothing you can do. It's just like being a big bullseye on top of a hill, and you're just sitting there waiting. You can't be safe. You can be lucky. That's it.
You can't be safe, you can be lucky.
That's it.
You get just as scared every time, and it gets worse. The closer they get, the more they throw. The more you get scared. When you get up, it's a wonderful feeling just to be alive, to be able to walk around after one of those.
Southeast. Okay, where can it come?
I've come to a place not many people actually come to, but it's one of the big reasons I wanted to come to Vietnam. We are on a rubber plantation which 50 years ago, well 55, a bit more than 55, was once known as the Marine Outpost at Con Thien, also otherwise known as the Hill of Angels, because although the Marines had this place for 2 years, February 67 to February 69, over 1,400 of them died here. It's like 2 a day on average. And all that's left is this bunker.
What happened to your squad?
They was hit. Most of them was hit by shrapnel, and there was medevac.
Well, tell me, you came here at full strength?
I had 13 men when I came.
And it's 4 days later now, and how many are still here?
6.
I think we're just occupying ground and losing too many men. I'm losing too many men. If we were to stay here too much longer, we wouldn't have much left of this platoon, let alone the company. I see, what, about 3-4 people get it a day. Not real bad, but enough to be medevac. Cut my platoon down.
The really depressing part about it is, like, there isn't really much you can do, you know what I mean? You see the rounds come in, you see your buddies get blown away and wounded and stuff like that.
I can't say that I'm scared stiff, but I'm scared. I mean, after a while,
you know it's going to come. You can't do nothing about it. And you just look to God.
This was the US Marines' northernmost outpost, only a couple kilometers away from actual North Vietnam. Because it was that close, it was in artillery range. So the soldiers described it as shooting fish in a barrel. They were the fish. This was the barrel. It's one of the few bases that could just get hit by artillery. So let's go inside the bunker.
The story of how Con Thien came to be a miniature Korea began last May. The Marines there were in construction battalions clearing strips to help protect against attacks. The outpost was little more than a few trenches dug on a hilltop, still green and unscorched, manned by 300 South Vietnamese civilian irregulars advised by a handful of American Special Forces troops. The few bunkers looked more like temporary homes for the men who were there to operate the graders and earth movers. But they were some protection against occasional artillery attacks. The plan now was to establish a post on the hilltop that could be more easily defended. That meant more bunkers and well-protected gun emplacements. But nothing at Con Thien has been casual since September came. For the first 25 days of this month, Con Thien had to fight back against ground assaults and a sudden calculated escalation of enemy artillery, the most intense artillery barrage of the war. At times, the shouts of incoming could be heard above the noise of our own guns.
See the shrapnel and the debris.
In their simple teenage philosophy, they don't understand the significance of holding on to what you've got, or as it's said in the Orient, saving face. The Pentagon gives orders to the generals, and the generals give order to the colonels, and so on, and all the orders are obeyed. But the grunts don't seem to understand that they're holding Con Thien because of a Pentagon decision to win the war with a kind of modern Maginot line that hasn't been built yet. 2 years ago, when the first of 500,000 Americans began settling into their enclaves here, with the fresh Pentagon promises of a quick victory, the generals were promoting the new military strategy of the air mobile offense. Now, in the light of Con Thien, the generals are explaining their successes with the words, mobile defense. Mobile defense seems to mean putting 3,000 men on the ground and allowing them to sit in the mud and wait for the shell with their name on it. The military can no longer justify this war with a casualty count. It may be that more Marines are dying along the DMZ than enemy. Anyway, no one doubts General Giap's strategy of sacrificing 10 of his own for 1 American, and few here believe our own exaggerated guesses at enemy casualties. They stay fairly close to their bases, to within a few hundred yards for most. It begins to sound like a conventional war with a conventional front. And in a few years, the Marines who have come down off Con Thien will talk as proudly as those who came back from the Choson Reservoir.